Hello everyone, and this is my review for WWE NXT on May the 25th, 2016. And for the most part, this show was, was mainly to build the Takeover special, at least in terms of making two more matches for it, and also very, very well done video packages for the Joe Balor match. So I'll get into that here in a few moments. Also, the main event was probably a lot better than what most people would have expected it to be as well. Just in complete honesty on that one. So they started off the show with William Regal saying that due to injury and that Bayley wouldn't be cleared going into the NXT Takeover special, that he had to make a new number one contender to the NXT Women's title, making a triple threat match with Carmella, Alexa Bliss, and Nia Jax. Again, not a bad way of going about it. Having Bayley out with an injury going into the special, they can save you can save the Asuka Bayley rematch for the Brooklyn show in that way. And also, when Bayley comes off of the injury, she has something to fight right away, almost like a redemption type of feel that she has to redeem herself. What happened with her in her match with Nia Jax? So, not a bad way of going, and it should be interesting to see how they write the rest of this out. You had the first match of the night. You had Ciampa and Gargano up against a new team. They're known as they were known in their independent name as the Mighty Don't Kneel, other words TMDK. Now they're being known as TM61. First of all, the first thing that popped into my mind is TM61. This sounds like an item out of a Pokemon game, and that's just on my own thought process there. Which of course that's what the technical machines are called in Pokemon, and they just have a number next to them. So that was the first thing that came to my mind. It's like, okay, that's an interesting name. Now for the match itself. This tag match was really, really well done. They gave both teams a good chunk of time here, especially with the new team coming in. A good chunk of time to show off what they can do. It wasn't like they threw them out there against Ciampa and Gargano and just allowed for a squash match to happen. No, they gave them a good chunk of time. You had the little respect spot at the end. I like those little nuances for the new team, even though they don't go over in their first match against the veterans. They were given kind of a respect type moment, and it makes them come off looking a lot more important in the end in that way, even though they don't pull out the victory inside of the actual match. You had a backstage promo with Bayley. Obviously, they were going to do some kind of promo with Bayley about how she was not going to be able to compete for the NXT Women's title. So she's doing her typical fare, looking really sad because she had been fighting her way to try to get back in, to actually have her rematch, training, everything in that sense. You got that from the promo, and so you got that sadness there, but it's she also played the complete babyface. She understood that she needed to be on 100% going into the match and everything like that, so the doctors weren't going to clear her. So it was not an aspect of getting overly angry that she wasn't going to be able to compete yet, but it was more of a keeping her in the babyface, but kind of showing that she's sad that she can't compete yet. And then Nia Jax comes in. And I like what they did with Nia Jax's promo here. Basically saying she was trying to get Bayley to admit that it wasn't an injury, that Nia Jax herself just broke Bayley in general. That she was never going to be maybe not the same person, but the same competitor again, and everything on that aspect. I liked where they went with that promo for Nia Jax. Again, it builds for whenever she comes back, it's like she's got to have another match with Nia Jax to prove herself again. So we'll definitely see where they go with that. And afterwards, you had Carmella step in, and you had Alexa Bliss step in, and they were basically hyping up the triple threat for later in the night. Again, I thought this promo was really good. I thought this came off really well done. You kind of got that sense of sadness from Bayley, being disappointed that she couldn't compete. Setting up for her and Nia Jax again whenever she does come back, which eventually will lead into the Asuka Bayley rematch. Up next was Austin Aries. He came out to cut a promo in here, and it was an aspect of it was an interesting promo about how he wanted to show his greatness and everything like that. I like how he even said everybody wants to be the best, where Austin Aries wants to be in this greatness level, which will allow him to be considered inside of there. It was an interesting promo. It almost made it feel like he was trying to be semi-heelish, but while he was still remaining face. Austin Aries has always probably been a better heel than he has been a face in the past. But this promo, it was not bad. It wasn't overly great. And then at the end of it, he challenges whoever wins the Joe Balor match to an NXT title match. This brings out Shinsuke Nakamura. And Nakamura, I'm not going to lie, this man's charisma and the way that he goes kind of offsets the fact that his English isn't there yet. It was you had this one little line in there. It's like Shinsuke's talking, and he goes to Austin Aries like, "You understand?" It's like, I don't understand. It's like, I don't understand. Neither do I. He just goes to the mic and says, "I don't even understand me sometimes." Like, the guy's charisma just oozes out of him. You can tell that he's supposed to be a star in some way. You could tell he's supposed to be a star in every facet there. Even if his English isn't perfect yet, like, the rest of the charisma just overlaps that. I actually liked how the promo went with Shinsuke and Austin Aries in that sense. This brings out William Regal to set up the match between Austin Aries and Shinsuke Nakamura. And, this is one thing I really like about William Regal. When he comes out to make an announcement about a match or something in that sense, when both competitors are in the ring, he doesn't step in the ring. He just goes right to the entrance ramp, makes the announcement, and goes to the back. That's all he really goes for. I did like how he also throws out there, it's like, well, we have our title match, and I see and you guys worked well as a tag team, but I see a tremendous opportunity for a one-on-one match, and it makes the one-on-one match. I actually liked how this came off. Again, there was a lot more promos to this show than anything. You had another promo, a really decent promo from American Alpha, Jordan Gable, going and talking about their rematch with the Revival at the NXT Takeover special. Just quick, short promo about how they feel, and it's like they were more than willing to see this new vicious side inside of the ring. They wanted the Revival to bring that to the NXT Takeover special. So again, not a bad promo in that sense. Like I said, a lot of this stuff was promo based this week. You had you only had the three matches really. You had Gargano and Ciampa versus TM61, which I talked about earlier. A squash match with No Way Jose. The one good thing about No Way Jose, the crowd is getting behind him, and you can definitely tell there's like a different type of energy coming from him out there. It's like the crowd gets behind him. He's not necessarily full on comedy. In the way he does things, he kind of just goes out there, he's dancing, he's showing that he's having a fun time, has his match, like you even see little snippets of things changing within his matches. So like one portion of the match he's like all hyper and energetic about everything, and then like he gets in a little bit of trouble, all of a sudden you see this like expression change from him inside of them, and it's really good in the end. It ends up with, of course, No Way Jose winning his match, and then getting everybody to kind of not getting everybody, but like he's dancing his way on out, like everybody's getting into it. He goes over to the announcer's table, gets Corey Graves and Tom Phillips to do it, to do the exact same thing as well. Overall, the character's growing a little bit more, because it's not like an aspect of, oh, he's just all fun and games, I've just got to dance and do all this. You kind of get like different expression changes throughout the entire match. Like he goes from being this hyperactive, high energy character in the ring to a very serious one, almost like in a split second in some cases. And I kind of like where they're going with that. Let's see how they continue on with that. The Samoa Joe Finn Balor promo. They showed 2 promo packages, each talking about the last title match and everything like that. These were really, really well done, and I love the aspect of the stare down in the cage, with the cage surrounding the ring. They did a really good job with this video package, getting everybody hyped around the aspect of this cage match. You have Joe going in there saying it's like, you may dress or paint yourself up as a demon, but I really am the demon and everything on there, and you're getting a different side of Finn Balor as well. Well, in his promos, he comes off a little bit more vicious and everything like that. He wants to get that NXT title back, and then they ended off with the stare down inside of the steel cage, which it looks like. Now, in all fairness, they're in a smaller building, so you can't necessarily have the same size steel cage. So this looks like it's going to be more of a steel cage match where it ends by pinfall or submission, and it's the cage is going to be a little bit smaller than the typical WWE style cage, but it's going to have like this feeling to it. It's like, oh, there's not going to be an escape, there's not going to be anything like that. This is going to be a steel cage match where these two guys want to beat each other down inside of the steel cage. And I'm kind of hoping that's where they're going to go for. Like, I hope they don't even try to tease the spots. Like, you can win by pinfall, submission, or escaping the cage, or like even the character, or even if they announce it, like the characters of Joe and Balor don't want to win that way by escaping the cage in any sense of the form. They just want to beat the crap out of each other. So we'll see how everything goes with that cage match. They've promoted a sit-down interview the next week. So we'll see how everything goes there. Now on to the main event, which was Carmella, Alexa Bliss, and Nia Jax. This main event is a lot better than what I think people were thinking it was going to be. These three put on a pretty good match. Pretty well-told story match as well. Like, you had the teaser right at the beginning. It's like, okay, Bliss and Carmella were going to go ahead and team up against Nia Jax right at the beginning, but then Bliss kind of played the whole cowardly heel, running outside of the ring and just letting those two fight for a little bit, and allowing for Carmella to get beat down until Nia Jax made her mistake and gets taken out of the ring. Then those two go at it. And just the way they flowed through this match, like, you had like these little spots of how they were trying to put Nia Jax into some a semi kind of trouble with everything, where like she would make a mistake or something in there. Like, you would have both of them fighting in the, like you had both Bliss and Carmella fighting in the corner. You have Nia Jax coming in for the splash, and both of them would just move out of the way, and then they would kind of try to take her out again. I liked how this match went. Like, it showed dominance for Nia Jax throughout the match in there, but also showed a little bit of a vulnerable side where she had to be saved from one of the finishers and everything in there. I just thought this triple threat match came off a lot better than what my initial impressions were when I heard about this match. So it just came off as a really good match. Obviously, Nia Jax goes over. You can't have one of the other two go over here and face Asuka when the number one contender was taken out by Nia Jax in this case. You had the... and then afterwards, you had the stare down, which initially started as a stare down between the rampway and with Nia Jax on the rampway and Asuka on the stage. Then you got that that almost semi... she wants to do something smile, like let's do something crazy smile from Asuka, and then she goes down to the ring, and they have the actual stare down inside of the ring there. And I even like the line that Nia Jax went with, like right at the end, because she wasn't going to attack her there, but it's like, next time you get this close to me, I'm going to drop you where you stand. Line, so it gives off a little bit more of a viciousness there. And I like that kind of stare down. It does add for a little bit more of importance going into the Takeover special in a couple weeks here. So overall, like I said, I like this NXT. Promo-wise, they did a great job building going into the NXT Takeover special, and also good setup between Austin Aries and Shinsuke Nakamura, Nia Jax and Asuka. The revive, obviously the promo from American Alpha I thought was pretty good as well, and the video packaging between Joe and Finn Balor was a great way of setting up this cage match going into the Takeover special. So that is my review for NXT this week. I thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.